In Superman issue 188 from the 1987 run, Superman holds a dying child in his arms. The issue starts with Superman fighting a supervillain. However, Superman is shown to be much more violent than he usually is, slamming a car onto the guy he's fighting. He's shown to be a lot more darker toned as well, making jokes while he's beating this guy up. He picks him up and throws him to the South River. Superman assures he won't die to some civilians talking to him, and is also shown to not show any remorse towards their car he just destroyed. It then cuts to a bank robbery, with 3 goons running out of the building. They ensue in a gunfight with the officer there, which results in the officer and a mother getting shot in front of her kid. Superman then shows up, furious, grabbing one of the goons and throwing him into a nearby store. The other goons try to shoot Superman, which obviously doesn't work. They try to escape, with Superman grabbing their car and chucking it to a nearby building, wreaking even more havoc in the city. It then cuts to the Daily Planet with Lois Lane, in which she's on the phone at her office. Jimmy Olsen comes up to her and tells her that Superman is on a rampage in the city, being way more aggressive than usual and saying that he's making jokes while doing it. It then cuts to the emergency room with Superman. The officer that the robbers shot earlier was now pronounced dead, with the mother and her kid caught in the crossfire in critical condition. The doctors tell Superman that there isn't much they can do for them. Superman, now furious, comments how there's nothing that anyone can ever do, and storms out of the hospital. Cutting back to Lois, she goes to a nursery and meets up with the nurse Karana. Lois asks her if Superman paid them a visit this morning. The nurse is suspicious, with Lois introducing herself, saying that she is a friend of Superman's and is visiting due to Superman acting strange and wanting to know if they knew anything about it. Lois promises the nurse that she's only concerned for Superman's well-being. It then cuts back to the city, in which a metahuman named Trainwreck is terrorizing Metropolis. He holds a woman hostage and demands for a helicopter for himself. Superman then zooms in, tackling him straight into a building, causing a lot of nearby destruction, with a lot of people near the blast radius. Superman then starts a fight with Trainwreck, in which he flies towards him and grabs his head, ensuing in a pretty big beatdown where Superman just flies him through buildings and cars. Trainwreck then tells Superman that he gives up, but Superman tells him that he doesn't, and that people like him will never give up. It then cuts to Lois at the Children's Cancer Ward radiology. The nurse she's talking to mentions that Superman goes there at least once a month, and mentions to Lois how it means a lot to the kids. Lois then tells her that Superman mentions Jamie a lot, a homeless girl at the radiology that's Superman's biggest fan. Lois asks where she is. The nurse then mentions to Lois that Jamie is not with them anymore. It then circles back to Superman, taking his anger out on Trainwreck, asking Trainwreck why he gets to live. A furious Superman asks, with all the deaths in the country, how did he get to survive? He picks up Trainwreck and tells him with all the children that died at the hands of lunatics, why does he, of all people, get to make it to adulthood? He tells him that he has a life that's been denied so many others more deserving. Superman yells at him, asking where the justice is in that, telling him he's not going to go easy on him, and prepares his laser vision, seemingly ready to kill him. Lois then appears and tells Superman that she knows about Jamie. Lois tells him that she knows it's unfair and it doesn't make much sense, with Clark telling her it doesn't make any sense at all why evil people get to live while innocents die. Superman then takes a pause, and then tells Lois that an officer found her in a box under an overpass. It then reveals a flashback of Superman hanging out with Jamie pretending to be a vampire. Jamie is shown to be smiling and having a fun time with Superman. Superman then grabs her hand, and when he does, he realizes that Jamie passed away due to her illness. Superman holds her body in his arms, heartbroken, seeing how cruel the world can be, seeing how with all his incredible power, there's just some people that he can't save. Cutting back to the present, Superman tells Lois that an abandoned, dying child like Jamie can still find joy in life, and yet someone like Trainwreck is the one who lives. He then spares Trainwreck and asks himself why. He then turns to Lois, broken, crying, with Lois holding him together. It ends with Clark asking himself why, questioning why the world can be so cruel to people who don't deserve it, with the final shot being of Jamie playing with her friends, being happy.